Strategy in horse racing is literally everything.
There are so many factors at play.
But when you're hot, it doesn't matter what you do, it's the right move.
You know, you can learn how to be a good winner, and you can be humbled pretty quickly, too.
Some guys just stick to game A, and then you're no man's land, and you look like an idiot.
Just because you're in the lead at the top of the stretch, that is never a sure thing.
That's what's so great about horse racing.
Thunder up on the outside.
There's just so much to unpack.
Where you start can be critical to where you finish. The jewel of Woodbine Mohawk Park's season is the Pepsi North America Cup. This year marks the 41st anniversary of the race, and it's a $1 million purse. This race attracts the absolute best horses across North America.
It's every Canadian driver's dream to win the North America Cup, and I'm no different.
The game plan was pretty well set. It's just whether it worked out or not.
Prior to the final of the North America Cup, there are elimination races.
It's been raining for a while. It looks to rain all night.
We got the best drivers here tonight, best horses, best trainers. The only thing we don't got is good weather.
The visibility's bad.
Our last time tonight, you're going to see me clean. It's very nasty out there, so hopefully, fingers crossed, the racing gods are on our side.
For the Pepsi North America Cup, there's 3 eliminations. So the top 3 get in.
Conditions like this, so we're working for our money tonight.
Bob was in the elimination races, had a little higher priced horse, so he was 9-1.
You know, the owners and trainers, they go in almost every time thinking they've got a very good shot at making the final. And they invested a lot of money to be there, so that's a lot of pressure on your shoulders. You want to, at the very least, give the horse a fair shot at getting in. Saturday night, too, was very damp, got very cold. You start to get pretty sore, pretty achy. Throw in broken arm, broken pelvis, broken hip, you know, everything starts to hurt. With the weather, like, I didn't think it would be a factor at all. It just makes the night a lot more miserable for me.
We're set for a start. They're off and pacing.
I had some horses in front of me that were tired and starting to fade, and right around the head of the lane, the rail just opened.
And he brushes his way to the front now.
To say I planned for it would be lying. I just got very lucky, but when that rail opened up, he sure shot through.
Scooting up the inside late comes Storm Shadow. Nijinsky on that lead. Storm Shadow trying to play spoiler, but it's Nijinsky. Nijinsky wins. Winning driver Louis-Philippe Waugh.
Good effort by Storm Shadow and Bob McClure.
Bob drove him eloquently, and he finished second, so a guaranteed spot in the final as well for Bob.
Because we didn't win, we are at the mercy of the draw for post position, and it's super important. So you need a little luck.
Doug had 2 drives on elimination night.
I had nice horses, but they're just not quite there yet. So maybe another year. We're gonna have to wait till next year, or the year after.
Last year, I had a couple contenders that maybe if they took the next step, they were good enough. But this year was very different for me because I was coming into that week with the horse to beat.
James drove Legendary Hanover in the elimination.
He'd been sensational his whole 2-year-old campaign. He was absolutely flawless starting the year. He looked like he was the horse to beat.
This is really a hometown favorite. This horse won an O'Brien Award last year, made a lot of money, had a lot of wins, and he and James were really quite a sensational unit.
Coming into the eliminations, that was my 1 NA Cup shot.
Obviously, a lot of pressure on this horse.
Tons of early speed here. Talent pool is deep. It's Pepsi North America Cup elimination number 2 time. Here they come. Off and pacing, punching out of there. Fun time by Emma. He'll power his way to the front. The chess game begins. Legendary Hanover's on the move right now. McDonald right lines in good and early, and he's brushing up powerfully in the backstretch. 3/8 complete.
Originally, that was my plan, to maybe gun him out of there and try and control the pace or sit close.
And it's Legendary Hanover spinning them into the stretch. Fun Time by Emma second. Here's Fun Time by Emma on the outside, trying to power up alongside him. Legendary Hanover, Fun Time by Emma reaches up, picks off Legendary Hanover right at the line in 1:50 and 1.
Yeah, it was just not the outcome we hoped for, but it's just a crappy night and it's a crappy race.
It's always nice to have a win, but he finished second, which is great. It means he definitely has a spot in the final.
You'd like to win so you can pick your post. Unfortunately, now we've kind of left it up to the post gods, so you know, we'll need a lot of luck, and hopefully we can get it.
Between the elimination races and the final during that week, there is a post position draw, which is a big deal. Owners and trainers are invited to attend. This is where you will find out where your horse starts in the big race.
When you're on the gate at Mohawk, it's a 1 to 10. That's a lot of space.
Bob's horse draws the rail, which is the number 1, which is right inside.
That's ideally not a great spot.
You don't want the rail. Sometimes you get jammed in there, and you obviously don't want the outside of the gate because it can be just a nightmare. The winningest post position at Mohawk is the 6-hole.
James's horse, Legendary Hanover, drew the 8.
It was going to make my work cut out for me in the final of the NA Cup.
So there is, of course, that week between the eliminations and the final, during which time a nervous driver must occupy themselves.
The week coming up, North America Cup, I don't like being around the horses at all during the mornings. A lot of guys do, but I usually just hang out with buddies and stuff that have nothing to do with racing. So, I mean, it just keeps my mind off the horses.
I've known this guy for too long.
We got a big job to do, and as much as you can stay away from it and not think about it as much, that's the way I like to do things.
In my earlier years here, I used to be, you know, almost obsess over the big races. Now, I've gotten to a point where I feel like I know the horses going into the final. You're better off knowing the horses and then making a plan going out, making sure you have a plan B, C, and then knowing what to do when you land on plan E. My distraction's at home, so, you know, the boys, they keep me busy enough that I don't have to think about racing all the time. It's nice being with them and not being asked any questions about it, and you know, you can pretty well just block that part of your life out.
If you're a horse driver, you want to have good pressure. You want people to expect you to win. Leave Saturday problems for Saturday and worry about, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
The way Hasty Bid.
James was probably the most productive out of all of them. The night prior to the North America Cup, he and his wife Paige actually took their horse to the Meadowlands, where they raced in the Graduate Series, which is a Grand Circuit race. Very big deal.
Hasty Bid from the inside, surging late at 6-1. Hasty Bid and James McDonald.
Their own horse, Hasty Bid, had a big win, which was super exciting and really provided a lot of momentum going into the next night.
It had me riding like an emotional high. So now I'm heading into the NA Cup with this confidence. It's my time. I'm going to win the NA Cup with Legendary Hanover. The rest is history.
Beautiful night. Tons of people, picture perfect all the way.
North American Cup, gonna be awesome watching these high-end horses go at it and the top caliber drivers.
Best day of the year for Canadian racing.
13 races worth $2.5 million. Big jewel, of course, is the Pepsi North America Cup, but there's 5 other huge races as well.
North America Cup night is the marquee evening of our racing calendar.
There's something different in the air, and the horses feel it too. There's anxiety, there's excitement, there's a lot of emotions going around.
A lot of ups and downs, and yeah, I was just glad to be a part of it.
A purse of $1 million certainly attracts outside interests. So a lot of US-based trainers and owners and drivers want to participate in a race like this because it's such a prestigious event.
There's this very real rivalry between Canadians and Americans. There's a lot of crossover because of the geography.
Some of the drivers, they don't necessarily like each other, or they're super competitive and they have a rivalry on the track.
You know, it was won last year by an American.
Yes, my show wins the big show.
A really nice American, a very talented American, but nonetheless, we just prefer to keep it here. The not-so-secret hope every year is that the Americans don't win this race. A very emotional start to the evening in terms of the local racing community. Wheels on Fire. This horse raced last year during Pepsi North America Cup night and unfortunately was involved in an accident with Doug.
There was nothing more I could do or my horse could have done, and next thing you know, down he went.
When he had that accident, you know, it made everybody around the track sad that we thought we might not see him again. Horses, they love racing, they really do, you know, and they hate when they go from having a full-time job to being retired.
A horse like Wheels on Fire, who just loves being a racehorse, managed to come back within a year's time and compete again on a night like the North America Cup night.
Wheels on Fire chased out by McNair.
Here's a good example where winning is not everything. The community really rallied around this horse. Just having Wheels on Fire here to kick off the night was extra special.
But he just loves his job so much, and Doug absolutely loves him and knows him. He's driven him probably every start that we've had him.
It's good to have him back. Thanks, bud.
Race 8 is the $100,000 Mohawk Gold Cup, and in here we have Line Drive Hanover, which is an older brother to legendary Hanover, which James will drive in the North America Cup.
The Mohawk Gold Cup is the premier race that night for what they call the heavyweights. They're the speed demons of the sport. As they're older, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're smarter, they're faster. They're everything.
There's actually the race Wheels on Fire got hurt in last year, so I just want a little redemption, and hopefully things don't turn out like they did last year.
Doug is driving Tarasi in this race. 5-1. James is 10-1 with Line Drive Hanover. So neither of them are the favorite, but they're both gunning for this really hard.
Set for a start, here they come. Often pacing and a good beginning at the center for Tarasi. He'll fire out tonight. Line Drive Hanover's going to come out with him.
The gate folded and we blasted out of there.
He snapped off the gate quick. Doug left with Tarasi with me.
I was actually 3 wide ahead in the first turn. Line Drive Hanover's inside of me, and the rail horse going out of there that fast. You got to change your strategy right away, and I dropped mine back in, and James got in front of me, so now I'm sitting third.
If we got to control the pace, I thought we could maybe turn it into a sprint, and maybe my guy could get the better of him. Best laid plans usually don't work out.
Line Drive Hanover third. Tarasi at the rail fourth.
We got in the last turn, and we were going as fast as we could probably be going. Mine wanted to go even faster, and when those guys are in front of you, you got to make sure you don't run them over. So I even said out loud, "You're in trouble here." And I thought he was going to run James right over.
I knew Doug was on my back. He always finishes strong.
And they come into the stretch, trying to track down a buck of Bet Hanover.
30, 40 feet from the wire, I felt like I was going to get there.
Line Drive Hanover upset-minded at 10-1 as he starts to thunder up from the outside late for McDonald. Here comes Line Drive Hanover. Line Drive Hanover on the outside, trying to take measure it right on the line. Line Drive Hanover wins the Mohawk Gold Cup invite in 1:47.2.
Comes down to nearly a photo finish. In the end, it's James at 10-1 with Line Drive Hanover winning by a mere neck over Doug with Tarasi.
Thanks, bud. And I was just really fortunate that he got his nose out in time and just held off Tarasi.
It was pretty disappointing, but it was a pretty good high there in the stretch halfway down the lane. You know, I thought he was getting there.
Thank you very much. Oh, you raced so good.
Early, I was like, not again.
Good job! A win here is really great for James's momentum. He's got to be feeling really good.
Thank you.
The Good Times final, $225,000 purse. Bob is driving Highland Kismet. Looks like a really incredible talent. He didn't race at 2, but since he started racing at 3, he's had 4 starts and is so far undefeated.
They're off and trotting. There's Highland Kismet now pressing on. Going to be stacked up there 3 or 4 wide though. Highland Kismet 4th, 5th inside to Pickpocket, but Highland Kismet is on the outside and sweeping on by.
When he came down stretch, as soon as he hit his high gear, I was pretty sure we were going to win.
Highland Kismet rail controlled, private access alongside second. Highland Kismet clear by 2 open lengths.
There wasn't anybody going to be trotting faster than I was right there. He was flying.
Highland Kismet pours it on. He's opened up 5 in the blink of an eye. North America, meet Highland Kismet. Highland Kismet barely took a deep breath to win the good times.
You know, there was a lot of emotion crossing the wire, having my family there.
Really exciting for Bob and Highland Kismet that night, and lots of excitement down the pipe.
It was one of the most gratifying wins of my career, and I'd say definitely one of my, if not my favorite win ever.
The way Bob's been able to overcome some nasty injuries is really special. And then to see him knock a signature race off was awesome.
The energy is really palpable on track. This is what everyone is here for. The races up to this point have been really fast, lots of emotion in the winner's circle. This provides a lot of momentum for James coming into the North America Cup. He's now had a legitimate stakes win. This is all building. He's got to be feeling really good coming into this big race.
Going into the NA Cup, my confidence was high. I was having a great night. I got a great horse.
There wasn't much pressure put on myself or Storm Shadow for this race. You know, we wanted to win, and we all believed we had a horse that was capable of winning.
It's a great one. It's the Pepsi North America Cup final. They're off and pacing in a good beginning at the inside. Captain Albano smokes out of there.
I thought there'd be 3 or 4 people take a shot and just launch, and it didn't go like that hardly at all. It was a lot of jostling, like a real chess match.
James and Louis were in really good spots.
Louis Philippe Bois, who is a regular driver here and was his first North America Cup.
Legendary Hanover on the outside. Nijinsky in traffic early 6th. Through at the rail 7th, Storm Shadow.
Given the rail position, my options were pretty limited. Just push out, try and find the right horses to follow, and hope that the other ones beat them up enough that we can pick up the pieces.
There is a glimmer of hope as they come into the backstretch.
I thought maybe if I can, I'm going to keep Louis and buried in the 2-hole so they can't get out.
On his back, here comes Nijinsky.
But again, you're not going to outwit Louis. From there, it was a horse race.
Outside from in 5th, Legendary Hanover, as McDonald's got him to the outside.
I'm sitting 5th, but I'm looking up to see who's in front of me, who's where.
Legendary Hanover first over and driving. Back into 3rd is Captain Albano. Nijinsky cranks up a 2nd over, rallied from in 4th.
It flashed in my head, I'm gonna win the NA Cup.
Sprint is on with $1 million on the line. Captain's quarters leads the way. Pocket sitter Captain Albano. Legendary Hanover.
I knew Nijinsky was on my back, so I'm idling up.
Here comes Nijinsky breathing fire.
Come on, stop the wheel. Come on, James. Come on, James.
And sometimes you won't hear them make up ground. And this one, I heard him, and it was just like picking up speed, and he just flew.
Nijinsky sails by, and it's Nijinsky in deep stretch. Drawn clear. Nijinsky hauls home the Pepsi North America Cup in 1:48.1, a perfect 2nd over trip, and Wah parlays it into a $1 million score.
You just won that NA Cup, bud. Fucking unbelievable.
Louis Philippe Bois, a local driver, won this race.
We're all competitive, we're all about winning, but at the same time, you gotta appreciate when someone else is doing something great.
To follow a horse like Nijinsky all year would be something that I would dream of, and I am dreaming of, to have a horse like him, so that's really fantastic.
Not too often, 3 Canadian horses come 1, 2, 3 in North American Cup, so that was pretty special.
The fact that an Ontario horse won that was bred here, owned by Ontario interests, trained by somebody in Ontario, and driven by an Ontario local is just unbelievable.
So it is fabulous to see the North America Cup stay in Canada.
It was great to see. I'm really happy for him and happy for the connections, and we'll just have to try another year and take another crack at it.
I was only in the 12th race, but I wanted to be here. I wanted to talk to people. I wanted to interact with the legends of the game that were present, and if there was one thing that I could learn, that would be a win for me that night.
I won the good times, James won the Fan Hanover, Louis win the North American Cup. It's really great that, you know, we can prove that we can compete with those guys night in, night out.
Yeah, it's nice to get a win on the North American Cup night. Best drivers all over the world came to town. Our guys cleaned up. That doesn't happen by accident. We got a great program going here in Ontario.
These are truly the best horses in North America that all converge for this one night. And now you've seen their storylines, you know their affiliation, you know some of their history.
That's what makes horse racing so special. There's always that what if.
And they will continue to race for the rest of the season.
Same horse are going to be racing against each other, so you don't want to miss it.
Follow their journeys and their successes.
You might have won or lost this fight, but you got to get ready for the next one.
It's really just a great preview of what the whole summer has in store.
There's a lot more stories to be written.
We are very close as a family, but once we are here, it's like we don't know each other.
It's so exciting when they're riding so hard to get to the finish wire first.
And they're off in the King's Plate.
If you want to set goals, one of the goals would be to win the King's Plate.
I have confidence in myself, I have confidence in my team that they may be the next King's Plate champion.
That's the goal this year, try to get the King's Plate.
The King's Plate is what every Canadian rider dreams of.
Who's doing this one?
Me, Doug, Bob, and Tyler Jones.
Oh, again?
They came with us golfing one day.
Tyler?
No, them. They came out right to cutting. Yeah, got right on the course. But it was a race night, so we couldn't really get turned up. It was probably for the best, but.